All right. Tax policy and government spending. Let's see what that looks like. All right. So we need to figure out how the government's using our money. So what we looked at in the last video was it's going towards the military, it's going towards social programs, it's going to like a rainy day fund. So let's see some specific examples of government spending in action and how that tax policy affected the way we spend our money. So the first one, you may remember this from world or not world, but U.S. history, the Works Progress Administration. So it was created during the Great Depression to help create jobs and stimulate the economy. So basically, they created a program in the United States that created jobs for people. So this image that's up here, like you can see, like these guys are working on a road. Okay, maybe that's a road that wasn't there before. Maybe it's a road that needed to be repaired. You can see this guy here is actually drawing a picture of the guys doing work. So this guy's getting paid to capture what these guys are doing, and the guy who took the picture probably got paid by the WPA to, document this instance. So this required the federal government to divert some spending towards the WPA, the Works Progress Administration, and programs like it in the hopes that it would generate more money for the economy. So the goal was to get more money into more people's pockets so that they could stimulate the economy. They wanted to make the economy active because as we spend our money in the economy, it encourages growth. So let's say like you really like going to local coffee shop, kava house, something like that, right? The more money you spend there, the more ability that they're going to have to hire more employees. More employees means more people active in the economy being able to spend their money elsewhere. The GI Bill, and some people who maybe have some family members who are in the military know about the GI Bill, but we're going to do a real quick explanation. It was created to give returning soldiers after World War II an opportunity to return to school, get appropriate job training, to open their own business, or to buy homes. Now, this has actually been expanded to the children of recipients of the GI Bill. So let's say your dad's in the military and he has a GI Bill, but he doesn't want to spend it on himself. He can actually give it to you to use towards your college tuition. And this was basically that you, after World War II, you have this giant group of young adults who 18, 19, 20 years old by the time the war is over, um, they've missed out on their chance to traditionally go to college. They may or may not have finished high school, right? So you have this really large group of people whose only discernible skill is being able to fight in a war. Now, that's not to say that everyone in the military at the time was a soldier and fighting on the front lines. Like, obviously, you had to have cooks, nurses, mechanics, things like that. So, like, you had people that had skills that were marketable outside of a wartime effort, but the large chunk of people were doing like combat roles. So there's in a peacetime nation, there's no combat role, right? I mean, some people maybe were able to go into the police force, but there was not as much of this idea of a career military person until well after World War II. So you don't see people who are just like, yeah, I'm going to stay in the military for 30 years and that's going to be my retirement job. The government shrunk the military following World War II a little bit. Okay, switching gears a little bit, what is the IRS? What does the Internal Revenue Service do? So they're a bureau, so a section of the United States Treasury Department, and it collects the taxes that people owe to the government. They receive and process over 200 million returns and additional documents each year. So, like some of you guys who work, you probably already filed your taxes. That's one of those returns and additional documents that they're processing. The IRS also, unfortunately, investigates individuals who may have violated tax laws in a criminal fashion. Let's go ahead and face facts. The way we tax our people right now is borderline theft, and the IRS is kind of like the police for that. So, but I digress. A lot of times we hear about tax credits. What are they? These credits allow taxpayers to reduce their income tax liability. So it means that people in lower tax brackets may receive relief from their responsibility to pay taxes. So if you pay for childcare or have dependents, you can receive a credit for it. Um, a lot of times based off of like loans that you've taken out. So there used to be a tax credit for people who bought their first home. If you spent X amount of dollars on your first home, so say you move out of your mom and dad's, you get married, you want to buy a house, you could get a tax credit for that for 1 year for buying a home because you're stimulating the economy. So the government's giving you a break on your taxes. Talk about credit scores and credit histories just real quick. So how is your credit score determined? This is you personally as an individual. So how you make your payments. Wait for that to go away. Nope. How you make your payments, how much money you owe, the length of your credit history, the mix of your credit. So do you have just all credit cards? Do you have a home loan and a credit card? Do you have a car loan, a home loan, and a credit card? Do you just have a car loan? Things like that. And how much new credit are you taking out? So if you keep opening credit cards every week at different stores that you shop at, that's going to affect your credit score. Let's actually leave this for the next one.